Time to shine today. Varsity Squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and I got my guy here, Kyle Gillette from the left coast up there in Washington. We're kind of cut from the same sheath. I'm a little bit older than him, but we're cut from the same sheath of our coaching. But we kind of started a little bit in the personal fitness business and helping people level up their fitness. You know, Kyle's put together pretty well. He's a fantastic gentleman, family man. I'll even say that he just closed down a bigger house for him and his lovely wife and 3 daughters. And if you go to his website, Gillette Solutions, you can see a nice picture of him in the About Kyle side. But, you know, he believes that all people have the ability to thrive in their personal and professional lives, to obtain freedom and independence that they strive to achieve. You know, Kyle is an executive and business coach who helps his clients grow their business without increasing their workload. So work smarter, not harder. I love that. For over 2 years, his Sage Mindset Leadership Program has helped his clients level up their leadership and the team around them. And I love it. Level up, just like right above here. Level up your life. So Kyle, thank you so much for coming on the Time to Shine Today show. And if you could introduce yourself to the squad, but first, what's your favorite color and why?
Oh, my favorite color. Well, hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
Favorite color. I'd have to say blue. Blue is definitely the color, which is your shirt. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I got a veteran-owned swell. Surf waves, enjoy life. You know, I got the guys in the Midwest that basically bring people out here to the coast, and I help put them up. And they, you know, people suffering from PTSD and stuff like that. We get them. So I always rep their company a little bit. It's pretty awesome. But anyways, let's get to you, Kyle. Let's talk about the origins, you know, from, you know, maybe you started working in the fitness industry and then really working it up to helping people level up mindset, you know, through your Sage program.
Yeah. So it all kind of began in 2005. I was sitting at I had a desk that was basically a piece of plywood on top of 2x4s. And it was in this apartment with 3 other dudes, and I was in college, and I was wrapping up my kinesiology degree, getting ready to do some personal training or physical therapy or something. I was a bit lost. And a couple of days before, I had traipsed through some poison oak, because in California, there's a lot of that crap, and I'm extremely allergic to it. Yes. And so I remember sitting at my desk talking to my parents on the phone, and I was covered in poison oak, and I was itching like crazy. And it was just this metaphor of how my life was. It was just kind of a mess. I was confused, frustrated, anxious about all kinds of things. And then you fast forward 6 more weeks, poison oak's gone, fortunately. But I had bumped into a buddy that I'd gone to India with, and he invited me to go interview for this men's mentoring program. So I interviewed for this program, and it was at this old farmhouse on 40 acres. And I went there and interviewed, and it felt like when I was sitting in that room, in the living room where I was interviewed, it felt like I was just being pulled into the couch, like I belonged and like I needed to be there. Wow. And so long story short, after the interview, they asked if I wanted the job. So I accepted it on the spot. And that was kind of the very beginning of my journey to Gillette Solutions, because it introduced me to helping people get their lives on track, helping people to level up, as you say, and do those sorts of things with their lives.
Love it. So would you give up that college experience for anything in the world?
No way.
I know, right?
College was awesome.
I know, right? You sit there, and like I was in the military, so I had, trust me, I was in Ramona, California, just as north inland of San Diego, and we went camping, and I was out there with a bunch of buddies before a deployment that we were going over to Iraq. And you know, when you're drinking a few brain grenades and you're going out in the woods and you're, you know, doing your business, you know, number one, well, I got poison oak everywhere, bro, and I'm talking even there. You know,
yeah, that's horrible.
Know, so and like you, I look at poison oak and I get it. There's no way around it. So, but like that's a funny experience. You and I are so much alike in so many ways, but yeah, I wouldn't have given up that experience for anything. And I'm glad that you actually shared that. So you started leveling up and wanting to level up other people, but how about the start of kind of the Sage program within the Gillette Solutions? How did that come about?
Yeah, so as I transitioned out of that program, I was a part of that men's mentoring program for 10 years, played different roles in it. And ultimately, I met my wife in the middle of all that. We had a couple kids, and we decided that living in San Luis Obispo, which is a fantastic place to live, wasn't going to work for us as a family because there was no family close. So we moved up to Washington. And when we moved, I said, if we're going to move, I have a really huge impact right now. With that program as a part of. But when we move, I want to have even larger impact. And so I thought the only way I could do that would be to interact with business owners and to help them have an impact on the people that they're working with. And so if I can help level them up, if I can help them thrive and become the leaders they're meant to be, then I'm having the impact that I want, and I can
Love
be
it.
behind those leaders. But I needed a framework to pull that off.
Love it. So what makes a great coach?
Perspective. Great coaches give perspective. They do a great job of asking questions that give their clients perspective, because great coaches don't tell their clients what to do. They help them
Yes.
realize what they need to do.
That's what I was waiting to hear. You guide them to that with your expertise. Thank you for saying that, Kyle. That's fantastic. So if I'm out at a networking event, which here in South Florida, we're allowed to, no matter what the media says, we're going out and we're networking and we're pressing some flesh and meeting new people. What am I listening for? What am I hearing if I'm talking to somebody that would make them a good referral, connection, introduction to Gillette Solutions?
Yeah, typical clients for me are business owners that are family-owned businesses. So a lot of blue-collar businesses are the ones that I work with, construction, some architecture, some automotive, but larger businesses that have around 100 employees are the typical good fit for me.
Okay.
They have the business owners have a heart for their people, but they just don't know how to manage their people very well. And so that's where I come in. I'm solving people problems and system problems. And ultimately, when you remove those people problems or you resolve them, same with system problems, you get more profit. That's what it boils down to. So I'm really helping their bottom line with the work that I do with them, with personality stuff, coaching conversations, those types of things.
So out of a family business, who would reach out to you? Would it be the owner of the business that would reach out to you seeking help to help them come and level up? Is that generally who it is?
Yeah, typically the owner of the business. A lot of times it's the wife versus the husband that reaches out, because men have struggled to admit
Sure.
that they need help.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that being said, like when you come into a business, I mean, you have the patriarch, especially a family owned business, you have patriarch, matriarch who you said usually reaches out to you. How do you diffuse the person that's right below them, the person that business is going to be turned over to in the future? They see you coming in and they're like, what the hell are you doing here? Tell me, you can't tell me that's not true, because I have it all the time. And people that I coach and stuff. What is your secret sauce for maybe helping get around that obstacle?
Well, most of us have heard the phrase "no, like, and trust."
Yes.
And I think I have a cheat code for that, because what I do is I have everybody in the leadership positions take a personality assessment with me. So they go through a personality assessment process with me, which allows me to understand them better and speak their language, speak their dialect. And because of that, then they start to like me because I respect their dialect. And then they trust me because of those things. And then all of a sudden I
Wow.
can be working with that general manager, that COO, CEO, whatever, and there's a trust that's
Or
already
the
been
oldest
established.
brother.
What's that?
Or the oldest brother that the family is going to be turned over to,
Yeah.
right? No, that's fantastic. You hear that, Squad? I mean, he doesn't go in with ego. He doesn't go in trying to change things. He gives them an assessment test to help them understand the language that they're talking and understand their dialect. And that's called being a go-giver. It's called being just absolutely smart. Thank you for sharing that. So what is your secret sauce and that help when you bring somebody in to start coaching them, Kyle, to help them really recognize their blind spots?
Yeah, I mean, that cheat code is that assessment. That's a big piece of the secret sauce, is
Okay.
just helping them to understand themselves. And it's the beginning of the SAGE process. I haven't fully explained what that is, but
Yes, please do.
SAGE is an acronym. And obviously SAGE means wisdom. It's a plant. There's all kinds of metaphor there, but ultimately SAGE stands for self-awareness, accountability, growth, and empowerment. And so the first step I always take with everybody they work with is to have them take an assessment, which creates that self-awareness. And then the next three parts of it kind of intertwine throughout the whole framework, the whole relationship with the business and with the owners.
Love it. I love it. So you can really, what assessment do you use?
I use DISC and then another one called Motivators. So
Motivators, have heard of it. That's
yeah.
great. Excellent. So you really dig in from the start and really get to know their language. It's perfect. That's the epitome of a great coach. So is there, when you start working with somebody, whether it's in the discovery process or you're just starting to work with somebody, is there any good question that you wish that they would ask you but never do?
I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry.
No, no, don't worry about it. I mean, I kind of throw that in there for people because I mean, I look at it and I have a couple coaches. You know, I have a mindset coach and then also a productivity coach. And basically, first thing I always ask them is, tell me about a fail. Tell me how you failed bad and what you did to overcome it. You know, or just why do you do what you do? You know, I know your passion shines through. Period. I mean, you look at everyone your pictures on any of his social guys. I know he's a handsome dude, but like he's always smiling. He's always getting after his vibes high. And that's somebody that I would want coaching me.
Right.
That's fantastic. So let's get in our DeLorean with Marty McFly. You old enough to know who that is?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So let's go back to the 22-year-old Kyle Gillette. And what kind of knowledge nuggets should you be dropping on him with the wisdom you have today to help him level up, shorten his learning curve, and really blast through?
Yeah, I think I remember about 2 years ago, I was laying on my couch in the early morning where I do some reflective stuff and some meditation and prayer and stuff like that. And I got this message in my head that was like, focus on these three things. And it was business, behavior, and Bible in my case. And I think that if I would have been told when I was 22 years old to focus on those three things, I'd be in a way better position than I am now. So in other words, it's going to be different for each person. But if you can pick one of those, if you can pick 3 or 4 things to really, really drive into and dive into and consistently level up in each of those areas when you're younger, then when you're older, it's going to be really impactful. And the other piece would be network. Network. Make friends, connect with people with no intention to get anything financially out of it. You know, go into it with intention to get something out of it relationally,
Sure.
but not financially. If something comes of it financially, awesome. But if not, who cares?
Might
Just
have made a new
network like
friend.
crazy. Yeah, exactly.
An alignment. That's actually, I love that you said business, behavior, and Bible. You know, it's funny. It's like part of my morning routine is I read Proverbs. Okay.
Mm,
And there's 31 books in Proverbs or 31 chapters in Proverbs. And so there's like 7 months of the year, there's 31 days. So it's like every day you have a lesson. And then unless it's June 30th and you read 30 and 31 on the last day of the month, or it's February, you read 3 chapters in a day. But it's just nice that you said that because it can really instill that wisdom. And then the business behavior network, that's fantastic. So I want to know how you want your dash remembered, Kyle. That little mark in between your incarnation date and your expiration date. How do you want Kyle Gillette to be remembered? Maybe your epitaph or your legacy.
yeah, I have this little phrase that I wrote down, and I'm gonna cheat and look at it
Yeah, man.
because it just fits. When I had my first child, her name's Annalise. Um, she's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something in my heart. I was like, what do I want my kids to know? What do I want them to know about life, to love? And I realized that there's 2 things I want my kids to have, and I want to have for myself, and I want everybody else to have. And that's 1, love God, and 2, love learning. If my kids can love God and love learning, everything's covered. There's nothing isn't covered,
Right.
because loving God covers all kinds of things, obviously. And then learning is wherever the shortfalls are. So if they love both of those things, and if I love both of those things and pursue them hard, I'm good. And so are they.
It's a never-ending journey of leveling up, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and you always have that love of God, and which God is love, period. So it's like you're loving upon love, and then you're, overlapping, because a lot of times people will chase happiness, but everything's finite. You and I, or not you and I, but you could be having a great time on vacation, but guess what? That vacation ends eventually. You know what I'm saying? But if you consistently, level up your happiness and overlap it, and that's where you said with God, it's like the more that you love God, you're overlapping. I'm
Yep.
happy you said that, and love learning. That's beautiful. So you're going to leave that legacy, and you're basically kind of a living legacy for it. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that would actually say that. But what is something that people might misunderstand about Kyle?
I think a lot of people think so I have a coach, and her impression of me is that I'm a little bit too soft.
Okay.
And I think what people don't understand is that there's this exterior of gentleness, and one might call it meekness. But then once I've established trust with someone, once they see that I care about them, then the hard-nosed part comes out, the directness, the
Unleash the
aggressiveness comes out.
Kraken. I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
Love
it's
it.
like with the client, you have to help them to understand who you are and that you actually have empathy and care about them.
Sure.
But when they're not taking the right actions, or they say they're going to do something they don't, then that's when the directness comes out. That's when the aggressiveness comes out to help them achieve what they need to achieve, to help them push themselves harder, push their team harder to get the results that they wanted from the start. And so I
Gotcha.
think there's this misconception that I'm gentler than I actually am.
Right. And you know what? That's a great trait to have, because that's sage. If you ask me, it's kind of sage. It's like, you kind of, back somebody up enough, and then they can the insight can come out of them. But what you're doing is you're building that trust, so you can, not, lack of better term, unleash, but you can kind of really dig in to their blind spot and then blast through it, right? Awesome. That's fantastic. So what are
Yeah, because if someone really wants to achieve something, what they need is accountability. And so
yes.
that's the second letter of SAGE. But if I'm not willing to go after it with them and keep them accountable, then they're not going to get to that SAGE level of leader,
Right.
right? But
Right.
you have to get that trust, you have to get that empathy. So there's this really kind of the Goldilocks combination so that
Mhm.
you can help them move to that direction.
Love it. I love it. The three bears, right?
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. So let's take our cell phone out of it. Let's take our tablet, computer, anything electronic. What are three things that Kyle can't live without?
Well, definitely my family,
Sure.
sports, and then of course my Bible.
Love it. So what's the sports that you follow?
Well, unfortunately, every gym around here is closing as it relates to racquetball. Racquetball is my thing, racquetball, but then you've got basketball and mountain biking. Those would be the sports. It used to be surfing, and I
Okay.
miss it like crazy. But yeah, those would be the sports. So, but
Gotcha.
anything that doesn't require uh, that you just run around and stuff, any activity like that is awesome.
Breaking a sweat every day is part of my daily ritual, no
Oh
matter
yeah.
what, so getting it done. I love that. So Kyle, what is your definition of a life well lived?
Yeah, I would say committing to the thing that you're passionate about
Love it.
and not regretting that. Pushing through when it's difficult.
Love it. So when you fail, kind of fail forward and learn
Yeah.
from it, just keep going. Wow, that's fantastic. So as we wind things down a little bit here, Kyle, I have my leveling up lightning round, okay? And you and I could talk 15, 20, 30 an hour per question, but you got 5 seconds, and all of them can be
Cool.
answered with a word and
Okay.
no explanations, though. You ready? Ready to
Sure,
level up,
let's
my
do it.
man?
Sure, let's do it.
What's the best leveling up advice Kyle's ever received?
Connect with others.
Love it. Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Every Saturday, I do a reflective practice where I answer 5 questions.
Love it.
And
Love it. We can expand. What's the 5 questions?
yeah, what should I do more of? What should I do less of? What should I start doing? What should I stop doing? What should I keep doing?
Wow. And keep. That's amazing. I'm going to have to add that to my repertoire. Fantastic. So, not the good book, not the book you're reading now, not the flavor of the month. What's the one book, if I'm in my doldrums and you're like, because mine is the Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. He's a Christian comedian, and it's a fantastic book, right? That changed my life. What is the one book that you say, Fergie, read this?
I'd probably have to say How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah, Dale, my man. God, good deal. Kyle, what is your most commonly used emoji?
Well, I use a Bitmoji. I
Okay.
don't know if you've ever heard of
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
it's usually it's obviously an image of me, but also some sort of like thank you.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Not wisdom, not knowledge, but physically. If you could be one age for the rest of your life, what would it be? Physically,
With my current condition.
with your current knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, geez. But I could continue to learn.
Yes, absolutely. If you could stay one age physically, what is it?
I'm probably like 31, 32.
Yes. How old are you, brother? If you don't mind saying.
37.
Okay, dude, 32 is my answer every time. It was the best age that I've ever had. I think that was 2004. No, 2000. Yeah, 2004. I was born in 72. I had to do the math. So, yeah, but 32 was like it was rock star age for me. So, what is your favorite charity and/or organization you like to give your time and/or money to?
Yeah, we give to Crew Campus Crusade.
Okay.
We've been given to this guy. So I went to Albania on a trip several, like, oh gosh, maybe 12 years ago or something like that. An unbelievable experience. And there's a guy named Bertie that led the trip,
Okay.
and he lives there with his wife and kids. And so we've been supporting them for about 12 years now.
Beautiful.
So
Love it.
awesome.
Last question. What is the best? It's kind of tough. Best decade of music, 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
60s.
60, really? Wow,
Yeah.
you brought it. You brought it back a little bit. It's good
Oh,
music,
yeah.
though. It's good music, real good music. Love that.
Yeah,
Love
I
it.
grew up on that stuff. So
Did you?
yeah,
Very
my
cool.
parents are obsessed.
Yeah. Were they hippies?
No, they
No.
just, just the like Leonard Skinnerd's and
Oh
Allman
yeah.
Brothers, those
Yeah.
folks.
There you go. There you go. So, Kyle, how can we find you, my man?
Yeah, you can find me GilletteSolutions.com, and then also look up Sage Mindset Podcast in any of the podcast channels. Those are the two best ways to find me.
Next Monday, I get my slot. I see it on my calendar. I get to come on. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Kyle, leave us with one last knowledge nugget you want us to take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Yeah, take imperfect action. Just go for it. There's no sense in trying to figure out the exact perfect action to take. Just take imperfect action.
Love it. And do it scared too, right? Do it scared. That's what I love. I love to add that onto anything that I say. But listen, squad, man, we just had basically a free masterclass with my good friend Kyle Gillette here from Gillette Solutions. He'll tell you that a great coach, gives perspective, and he uses assessments to help him understand his clients' like business language, if you will. And he uses his SAGE, SAGE, which is self-awareness, accountability, growth, and empowerment. And those four are just amazing. And I strongly recommend you get in touch with Kyle. If you can do it through the show notes information, or else just give me a jingle or a ring or an email or whatnot, and I would personally put you in touch with Kyle, who, he believes in three things: business, behavior, and the Bible. If you're young, get locked into those three B's. So we'll call it the B3. Business, behavior, and the Bible, and always network. And he would reminds his kids and he reminds himself to love God and love learning. Always progress, always love. Really connect with your passions and never have regrets. Really go after what you really want. You don't want to look back and say, you know what, man, I wish I would have did that. Kyle lives it on a daily basis. He connects with others. And then his five, he reflects on Saturdays. What would he keep doing more of? What would we do less of? What would he start? What would he stop? And what would he keep doing? And I'm going to start adding that in my repertoire. That's just fantastic. I appreciate him really sharing that with us. And lastly, take imperfect action. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just take action. You can learn along the way. And as we like to say, do it scared. Get your ass in gear if you need. Ask people, get out there and just make connection with people like Kyle. And Kyle is humble. He is passionate. He's healthy. He's wealthy. And he's a family man. He's a God-fearing man. We're cut from the same sheath. And Kyle, thank you so much for coming on Time to Shine today. You're fantastic. And we can't wait to have you back. And we will talk to you soon, my friend.
Yes, thank you very much.
Bye now.